Okay, let us start. So, for this course, particularly for radiology, you have to take the reference of textbook of veterinary diagnostic radiology by Thrall and veterinary radiology of basic principle and processing by A.P. Singh and Jeet Singh. Then Carlson veterinary radiology. Three books mainly you have to take as a reference, and another book also, that is a Kelly. So, in brief about the history of this X-ray or radiology, Dr. R. Eberlin is known as the father of radiology, and X-ray was discovered by W. C. Ranjan on 8 November 1895, and for this work he got the Nobel Prize or first Nobel Prize in physics on 10th December 1901. And after the discovery of X-ray, there is a lot of revolution in diagnostic field. And during that time, when this Ranjan discovered this X-ray, the properties of this rays was not known. That's why he coined the term X. And later on, nowadays also, it get popularized as a X-ray. So next thing is the first X-ray. This is the first X-ray that is taken by Dr. Ranjan, was of his wife, Mrs. Ranjan, hand, and you see here the ring, and this ring is the ceremony ring of Mrs. Ranjan. Okay. Then, in brief about some terminology that we generally use in radiology. First is what is radiology? It is a science that deals with the diagnostic and therapeutic application of radiant energy. And next term is veterinary radiology. It is the application of radiant energy in veterinary field for diagnosis, therapeutic purpose in domestic animal, zoo animal, and lab animal. Then radiology. Any qualified person who knows the application of this radiant energy in diagnostic, therapeutic, and research purpose is that person is known as a radiologist. Then radiographer, any technical person who can obtain the quality radiograph is known as a radiographer. Then radiograph. Actually, what happens is whatever organ we want to take X-ray, we expose with the X-ray and we take recording on the this radiographic film or cassette, and later on it will be read or developed as a permanent impression of that particular organ. So any image that is just after exposure, that is recorded on the radiographic film or this cassette, radiographic cassette, before processing is known as a latent image. And that latent image we read on the this CR system or develop in a dark room, and final impression that is visible with our naked eye is known as radiograph, Ranjanograph, or skiagram. We don't tell as a X-ray. We can say radiograph. Okay. So, what is the application of this radiology? Why we study this radiology? So, there is a lot of application in our diagnosis, therapy purpose, and also to evaluate our treatment. Suppose as a diagnostic tool. Suppose one animal came to you having a swelling, and there is after palpation you feel that there is a crepitation and suspect that there is a fracture. But you want to know what type of fracture is there. We cannot see from the naked eye what type of fracture is there in that particular animal. For this, we take the help of X-ray. Suppose this X-ray. So, after palpation, just we know that there is a movement of this bone or crepitation if you touch from the other bone, but we cannot say which fragment is moved what side and what type of, whether it is an oblique one, whether it is a transverse one, that we can only able to recognize with the help of X-ray, with the help of X-ray, and this will help us to plan for the further management of this fracture or fracture fixation. Then next one is if you want to evaluate, if suppose we are giving some treatment for fast healing to a particular fracture in particular species, then with the help of X-ray, we can evaluate whether our treatment is working properly or not, whether the fast healing we are getting or not with the help of X-ray. Okay. And this one is also helpful in determining the age of the animal. Suppose if you see these two X-ray, if you see this one is a radius bone, this one is ulna bone, right? So there is this one is a epiphysis, and black line that is a physis, okay, and physis that is a growth plate, and this one is a metaphysis. So physis is still existing. This indicates that the bone is still in the stage of growth or growing stage, right? If you compare, so this one is of young animal. We can say this one is a young animal. If you see same radius bone, distal radius bone to this X-ray, you won't find any translucent or black line over here. This growth plate get fused. That means this one is a of adult animal. We can say adult animal. So approximately we can guess whether the animal is young or adult. It also helps in determining the age, and also for teaching the radiographic anatomy of the bone. Then in evaluation of the fracture, osteomedullography, we can know what is osteomedullography. What we did in this case is, once the fracture is there, and after fixation, just we want to evaluate whether blood line between the two fracture is exist or not. For that purpose, we perform osteomedullography, right? So broadly, there is any radiant energy which is capable of removing one or more orbital electrons from an atom is known as ionizing radiation. For ionizing radiation, we can classify broadly into two parts. One is particulate or corpuscular ionizing radiation, and next one is electromagnetic radiation. So under particulate or corpuscular radiation, we keep those rays which is having this mass or having charge, like alpha particle, beta particle. But in case of electromagnetic radiation, we keep those radiation having no mass or charge, like heat wave, light wave, infrared, X-ray is also coming under electromagnetic radiation. So these are the common properties of magnetic radiation, which is also fulfilled by the X-ray, because X-ray is also electromagnetic radiation. So being magnetic radiation, properties of X-ray is having no charge, no mass, travel with a speed of light, invisible, cannot be felt, travel in a straight line, cannot be deflected by magnetic and electrical field, okay, can ionize atom. So the wavelength, we are mainly confined to the X-ray, right? So wavelength of the X-ray is 0.1 to 0.5 angstrom, and energy varies from 25 to 125 electron volt. And for diagnostic purpose, we mainly use 30 to 100 kilovolt potential for the diagnostic purpose. There are other purpose of the X-ray also. X-ray is also used for the radiation of the cancer or therapeutic purpose. In that case, we use higher energy, but for this diagnostic purpose, mainly we use 30 to 100 kilovolt potential. Because if you want to take X-ray of a 5 kg pup, or you want to take the X-ray of a cat, then you have some different energy. And if you want to perform X-ray of a Great Dane dog or Saint Bernard dog, you need higher energy. So we just moved from 30 to 150 to get the quality image. Then terms that is related with the image production. Any for any, taking the X-ray, what we do here is we put the object between this X-ray machine and X-ray plate, and any radiation that is directly coming from the generating from the X-ray machine is known as primary radiation. And that primary radiation, after interaction with our body part, some of the radiation absorb in the body and some is escape from the body and fall on the this film, X-ray film, and that radiation which after cross or passing through the object fall on the radiographic film is known as remnant radiation, right? And one needs a secondary scattered radiation. Scattered radiation we will study later on. So a scattered radiation is nothing but the X-rays travel in a straight line, but after interaction with the body, it get deviated from the straight line. That is a scattered radiation. A scattered radiation is of no use, rather it deteriorates the quality of the radiograph. So why we get the images of our body on the X-ray? That is because of difference in the absorption of the X-ray by different body parts. Suppose we want to take the X-ray of the hand, then in hand we have a skin, fat, muscles, and bone. All a structure having different this atomic number or different mass density, and based on these differences there is a difference in the absorption of the X-ray. Like calcium in the bone absorb most of the X-ray, okay, so it will look black on the radiograph, right? Fat and other soft tissue absorb proportionately less quantity of the X-ray, so we observe black or gray kind of impression on the radiograph. So now you see, it will be clear from this picture. So the X-ray, that is, suppose this one is object, okay? I want to take X-ray of this object, okay? And this one is a radiographic plate or film, and above to this is a X-ray machine of focus, right? So X-ray is generated over here. Similar quantity of X-rays fall down or at this body part, and this body part also, right? So this one is a primary radiation, right? After getting interaction with this patient, only two X-ray fell down or crossed through this body part. So the radiograph appears as a white, right? Here, more than this, four cross through this structure. So it appears as a grayish. Here, most of the X-ray cross through this structure. So it appears as a black, right? So next one is based on the X-ray that pass through the particular organ, we can use the term radiolucent or radio opaque. Radiolucent is a material that absorbs least amount of the X-ray photon. Like ear, through ear, X-ray or most of the X-ray get passed through the ear. So it is a radiolucent, right? Then next one is a radio opaque, where the most of the X-ray get absorbed in the body part. In that body part, we use the term radio opaque, OP. Just you remember this with the help of OP. That means obstruction in passing the X-ray. OP, obstruction in passing the X-ray. It will absorb most of the X-ray. That's why it is radio opaque. Radio opaque, radiolucent. There's two terms. Okay. So now you see here. Here, through here, most of the X-ray get passed through, so it appears as a black. Fat, as compared to the air, it absorbs X-ray more than the air, so it appears as a gray. And gradually, if we come to the bone, it absorbs most of the X-ray. That's why it appears as white on the radiograph. And metal, metal is the most efficient in absorbing the X-ray, so it appears as a brightest on the bone. So now see this. For any radiograph, just to initiate the reading radiograph, just to try to recognize what is this before going in detail. So if it is a black, if this is a black, that means if this is a black, that means air, right? If it is a grayish, it is a fat. If it is a bone, it's somewhat brighter than fat. Okay, so bone. Okay, next one, if it is a soft tissue, it appears less brighter than bone. So soft tissue. If it is a metal, now see the bangle and ring. It is more brighter than bone. So this is a metallic opacity. So simply you try to recognize black, that means air opacity, then grayish, fat opacity, then more brighter than bone, that is soft tissue, and bone, then metal. So generally 5 opacity we try to recognize on any radiograph. But if there is no metal, then generally we move on the fat. This 4 opacity, air, fat, soft tissue, and bone. Simply you try to recognize these 4 opacity on X-ray and train your eye to recognize this, and later on gradually you can able to diagnose further also different conditions. So next is the directional term. Whenever you write X-ray, you have to write in a proper direction also, see which view you want to take the X-ray of particular body part, right? So this one is a back, that means this one is a cranial, dorsal one, and below is ventral. So if I want to take the X-ray of this body or abdomen, then either we use the term dorsal or ventral. Okay, if I try to take the X-ray in supine position or abdomen down, then dorsal or ventral, right? Then this one is the rostral, this one is the ventral, and towards the head is a cranial, towards the tail is a caudal. So if you want to take the X-ray of this forelimb, then this side is cranial, this side is caudal. If it is below the carpal joint, then we use the term dorsal, and dorsal for the cranial side, and the caudal side we use the term palmar. Similarly, in case of hind limb, if we write any X-ray below the hock joint, then we use the term dorsoplantar. Palmar for forelimb and plantar for hind limb, right? So suppose from next slide, it will be more clear. Suppose I want to take the X-ray of the pelvic bone. So I position this animal with the back side down and belly up, right? So X-ray will fall here, yani ventral side, and cross and exit through the back side. So what term we use here is ventrodorsal. Ventrodorsal. If just flip this image, or if the dorsal part or back side we keep up, and belly towards the down, then X-ray will fall first on the back and exit through the belly. In that condition, we use the term dorsoventral, right? And you will get this type of image, right? If you take the radiograph of ventrodorsal or dorsoventral view, then you will get this type of image, where the spine is in the center and both limbs in the periphery. So this is the ventrodorsal or dorsoventral view. Then next, lateral view. Lateral view, either we can keep the animal with the right side down, this as it is shown in this picture, right side down, then we use the term right lateral recumbency, right? We can also keep this animal left side down, then we use the term left lateral recumbency. And if you take the lateral radiograph, you will get a spine above and abdomen or belly below. This type of X-ray you will get. Okay, so this one is a lateral recumbency. Either we can take the X-ray, lateral recumbency X-ray of this abdomen or chest. We clearly mention what view we want to take the X-ray, what view we want to see the X-ray, whether it is a right lateral or left lateral, right? Clearly you have to mention, and on that basis your radiographer will take the image or take the X-ray for your diagnosis. So now you see anteroposterior and mediolateral view. If you want to take the X-ray of this radius ulna in an anteroposterior view, then X-ray will fall from the anterior side and exit from the posterior side, and finally it fell down in the radiographic field. So this one is an anteroposterior view, and if we want to take the X-ray below this carpal joint, then we write dorsopalmar view, and position for taking this X-ray is like this. Okay, and if you take X-ray of craniocaudal or dorsopalmar view, you will get this type of X-ray. Here it is a radius bone, this one is the ulna, these are the carpal, these are the metacarpals. And if you want to take the X-ray in a mediolateral view, okay, first X-ray will fall on the medial side, and after crossing the body, exit through the lateral side, and finally it fall on the radiographic plate. So this one is the mediolateral side. So if you take the mediolateral view, you will find this type of images on the radiograph. So for viewing the radiograph, there is a standard protocol or a standard SOP for viewing the radiograph. If you want to view the radiograph in a viewer, you must orient the radiograph in this manner only. Like cranial rostral or dorsal part should be like this towards your left side, or right part of the animal towards this side, left towards this side, or palmar plantar or dorsal proximal cranial towards this side, and caudal part this side. Okay. So now you see this. Whenever you see an animal with this ventrodorsal view or dorsoventral view, you imagine that you are shaking hand with the animal. So right side towards this, left side towards this, cranial head towards upside, and caudal this side. Only after getting this orientation, you try to start interpretation or reading the radiograph. Okay, now you see this. If we take the X-ray of the chest, then this ribs is towards this head, and this one is the abdomen towards the below, this side right and this side left. Similarly, this side right, this side left. If we take the want to see the X-ray of this abdomen, then this side right, this side left, and this side distal part, or this side is ribs showing the thorax, that is the proximal side. Similarly, for lateral view, you always try to orient the image like this. You see the X-ray towards this. So your neck or cervical vertebrae towards your left side and tail towards this right side, dorsal part upside and ventral part downside. So now you see. So for proper orientation, you before reading any radiograph, you orient the image in this position only. Then here in this slide, I want to clear why we need two view. Whenever we take the X-ray, we must write two view because X-ray is a two-dimension image. To observe the image, to imagine the image into the three dimension, you must take two images at 90-degree angle, right? So now you see why we are interested to take two view. Now you see this object. This one looks like a nail, a straight nail, right? But if same animal, if we take in the lateral view, this one is dorsoventral or ventrodorsal view. In lateral view, now it is clear. It is not a straight line nail, it is a hook. And also, by seeing this picture or this radiograph, we cannot say that this particular fish hook is located in left side or right side. This is only possible when we take this view also. Here, we can able to see that the object is located in the right side. Okay, so this is the necessity of taking two view. Then now you see this X-ray. This one is a humerus bone, fracture in the humerus. I have taken this single view, but we cannot able to recognize whether fracture is there or not. But on palpation or seeing the clinical sign of the animal, I assure that there must be a fracture. So take another X-ray in a perpendicular orthogonal view. Now you see, it is clearly visible that there is a X-ray, there is a fracture in the distal part of the humerus. So this is the importance of taking two views. Next one is particularly for if we want to diagnose the affection of the lungs or thoracic cavity, we must take minimum three view. Three view means right lateral, left lateral, DV or VD view. Okay, right lateral means right side down. For diagnosis of this lungs, if we put the animal right side down, then the right lung is compressed and left lung is more aerated, filled with the air. So in right lateral recumbency, we can diagnose this left lung. If we want to see right lung, then we put the animal left lateral recumbency, that means left side down, right up, so that in left, that is a below structure, that is the lung, is compressed, and this above lung, right lung, is more aerated. So this is important for diagnosing the affection of lungs. Then another view, suppose by seeing this view and this view, we cannot able to tell exactly the lesion is located in which side, left side or right side. For that purpose, we must check right lateral DV view or VD view, anyone. If we want to diagnose the condition of the heart, then we prefer to take dorsoventral view. डोर्सोवेंट्रल का मतलब यह है कि उसका बैक साइड इज फेसिंग टुवर्ड्स अप, ओके, and the ventral part of sternum is touching to the cassette. So that is a DP view. Okay, yani first the X-ray that enters in the body, that we keep first, and the when the X-ray exit from the body, that we keep last. That means if the rays is entering from the back and exit from the ventral sternum part, then we use the term DB view. When the rays enter through the sternum and exit through the back, then we use the term ventrodorsal view. Okay. So this is all about today's class. Now, if you have any question, now you may ask.